and welcome to First Friday on Peak Radar Live. And if you're listening on our podcast, Peak Radar Live later. I'm your host, Angela Seals with the Cultural Office of the Pikes Peak region. And on this episode, we're covering the openings and events of First Friday, August 7th in downtown Colorado Springs, Old Colorado City, and Manitou Springs. This First Friday is a combination of in-person and virtual events, and there's some big things happening, including the launch of Art on the Streets, the opening of a new gallery downtown called the Lincoln Rose Gallery, the reopening of the Modbo. We're going to cover all of that in tonight's episode. This episode is pre-recorded, so we'll actually get a sneak peek at the preparations for the exhibits that are going on tonight during First Friday in downtown and the whole creative corridor of the Pikes Peak region. Our first interview is with Lauren Ciborowski, the gallerist at the Modbo Gallery, and the two artists that are going to be featured in the Modbo's first exhibit, which runs through August 28th, called Modern Storytellers. The Modbo is a well-loved gallery in our downtown Colorado Springs gallery scene, and it's located in the Arts Alley district of the Downtown Creative District. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Peak Radar Live.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Lauren, I'd like to start with you. Congratulations on the reopening of the gallery. I know a lot of people have missed stopping by the Modbo during First Friday.
I've missed being open. It's been so odd not to have First Friday. I think in the 10 years that I've been open, I've only ever missed once.
Wow.
So it's been a weird, long stretch here these past few months. I'm really glad to be reopening with this show, which I think is going to be just stellar.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to talk about that, and I'm so honored and excited that we have the artists here to tell us about what people can look forward to. First, I wanted to give you a moment to let people know a little bit about the Modbo, because if they've never stopped by the Arts Alley District and never been to the Modbo, I'd love for you to tell people what your vision is for the space and the specific niche that the Modbo holds in our local art scene.
Sure. The Modbo is just a little scrappy urban gallery in an alley. And the original mission statement was to bring joy to those who collaborate in the arts, which is something that I love. I love having multifaceted performances here. So I do show visual art in normal times. I change it out every month. But I also host all sorts of musical events here. My primary passion, interestingly, is music. So I work as a pianist and I run a cabaret out of the space. So lots of fun little things can be done in this 650 square foot space. And it's great to, in normal times, pack people in and show them something interesting and unusual that they might not think they could happen upon down an alley in Colorado Springs.
So since it's not normal times, as we are all so well aware, what will the reopening be like during First Friday, August 7th?
It's going to be an interesting experiment. So my openings are famous for going late. This one will not go late for two reasons. One, it's a trial, and two, I have a 2-month-old. So I will have bouncers at the door, my husband, and my 2-month-old. And they're going to be controlling who comes into the space. So people can come in just a few at a time, given how small it is. Or if a group of people have been quarantining together, they can come in together. Families can certainly come in together. So they'll be able to walk in the front door, look around the space for a few minutes, come visit me in the back. If they want to have a beverage, they can do it right outside the back door. So it'll be sort of a brief facsimile of what the openings usually are, but it's definitely a chance to see the art, hopefully interact with the artists, kind of depending on the timing, and get a sense of, their beautiful work. It's sort of like a drive-by arting. We'll kind of be in the front door and out the back. I don't have a time limit, but if people start lingering, I'll have to start making faces at them from under my mask. And that's the other thing, of course, we will be requiring masks.
Right. So that single flow through a gallery is one of the new adaptations that a lot of galleries are doing, as well as, of course, mask wearing indoors. Our cultural participation guide at culturaloffice.org gives you kind of a sneak peek at some of the ways and some guidance about what arts participation looks like during the pandemic. And more than anything, with this show and with everything the Cultural Office and Peak Radar is doing, we want people to know we can do this. We can still experience the arts. People are still creating. JayCee and Gregg are here because they are producing, and they're inviting you to come see their work on August 7th. And when you go into the Modbo, when it's your turn for that single flow experience through the space, which honestly, the intimacy can be really neat. You can really focus on your work. I think it's just a different experience. When you go in on Friday tonight from 5 to 8 p.m., you'll see the exhibit Modern Storytellers, which features two artists, JayCee Beyale and Gregg. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, Gregg, will you tell us a little bit about your work that will be in the show?
Well, the common theme that JayCee and I were able to kind of come up with is about the way that a lot of contemporary Native artists tell stories within their work. And those stories can go a lot of different ways. And so I think we're just sticking with that theme and being able to inform stories, indigeneity, tradition, culture, even popular culture, and misrepresentations and misunderstandings. So it's a mixed bag.
Yeah, I know that misrepresentation and really confronting that is part of your art career and your body of work across many disciplines. And the choice Modern Storytellers seems really in line with your commitment to showing Indigenous artists and Indigenous voices as modern, as part of contemporary culture, and not a historic or romanticized thing.
Yeah, JayCee came up with it. So,
oh, good job, JayCee. What will you be showing, Gregg? Will you have paintings? What's part of the exhibit?
Yeah, it's primarily going to be paintings. I have a few prints that I'll probably include in that. And I know JayCee and I have been also talking about a collaboration as well. We come from some different, I think, painting experiences and teachings, but I think with this collaboration, I think we'll be able to meet in the middle really nicely.
Fantastic. And you also have another work that's kind of launching, debuting on August 7th, and that is with the Art on the Streets exhibition, which officially launches during First Friday, and your 70-foot mural on Pikes Peak Avenue downtown.
Yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing a performance piece. My daughter and I, who incidentally is also the subject of the mural, and who helped me when I was down there for a few days working on it. And we have a performance piece that falls in line with the same theme of missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit. And incidentally, is not related to the mural at all. It's something that we did a year ago and that we have a chance to do again in the springs, and it all just happens to coincide at about the same time. So.
Yeah, that performance that Gary's talking about starts at 5:30 p.m. So in just a short time, as you're watching this episode, at the Colorado Springs Pioneers Museum on the South Lawn. So there's so much to experience tonight, and so much great deal in downtown Colorado Springs tonight. Really check out the Modbo and this exhibit in particular, because only at the Modbo will you see his collaboration with JayCee Beyale. JayCee, tell us a little bit about your work in the exhibit.
Yeah, my work is just like Gregg said, I mean, it's just a kind of piggyback off of what he said. My work is more of a combination of more like street art and fine arts. I went to school for fine arts, and I try to push myself with what I do and try to really kind of go to the next level with my work and try to push it even further. And I'm really proud with what I've done with these pieces because they're very large. There's just a lot of, trying to present some movement in my work, and really kind of the mixture of street art with fine art, and really kind of find that middle balance, so that way there's the existence and non-existence of both forms, and how one can overpower the other. And growing up and living in the city away from the reservation, that's kind of what I'm trying to define with my work. And get really technical with the presentation as well. So that's kind of what I'm doing this time around.
Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing a sneak peek of a couple of the images. And the scale is kind of hard to understand when you just see them on the screen. How big are those pieces we just saw?
The smaller one of the two of the gentlemen is 2 feet by 3 feet.
Okay.
And the one of the woman is 6 feet tall by like 5 feet wide.
Wow.
So pretty big, you know, got pretty ambitious with these pieces for sure.
That's so exciting. I've seen your work at the Modbo before, but it wasn't 6 feet tall. So it's going to be so exciting to see that scale in the intimacy of the Modbo Gallery. Thank you all for your work and for what you're bringing to downtown Colorado Springs, particularly Lauren for your 10 or 11-year history of work on the Arts Alley District. And we're so glad to welcome the Modbo back to First Friday tonight.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Thanks for this opportunity too.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
First Friday is a collaboration in the Pikes Peak region of 3 different business districts that are full of arts and culture. Downtown Creative District in Colorado Springs, Old Colorado City, and Manitou Springs, Colorado, which has always been a hub of creativity, with a very unique flavor all its own. Tonight, we wanted to show you this new video highlighting the creative community that vibrates inside of the Manitou Art Center. Next, we're going to head out to Old Colorado City, which is also part of the Creative Corridor. Creative Corridor runs down Colorado Avenue between Manitou Springs on the west end and downtown Colorado Springs. You'll find the beautiful, historic Old Colorado City. Old Colorado City is a hub for arts and culture with many independent galleries. And tonight we have the joy of joining Kenny Idleman at Squash Blossom Gallery to get a look inside that anchor space in Old Colorado City. Squash Blossom has been open for 47 years. It's really an amazing thing to have a gallery so successful since 1973. Thank you, Kenny, for welcoming us into the gallery.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit, if people have never stopped in, they've probably driven by because Squash Blossom is such a big, beautiful facade right there on Colorado Avenue. If they've never come in, what are the strengths of Squash Blossom that really draw people to come as a destination gallery?
Yes. I think that we kind of were founded on and made our name with is turquoise Native American style jewelry. So we have a very extensive collection, about like 1,000 square foot showroom that's dedicated just to Native American jewelry. But over the years, we've totally expanded and started carrying designer jewelry. So gold and diamond and gemstones, other precious metals, really renowned designers from all around the world. And then also we kind of grew to feature local artists as well. So we have a pretty awesome collection of some featured local artists, which are mostly wall painters and sculptors. So stuff like that.
We're seeing some gorgeous work behind you there.
Yeah,
Could
absolutely.
you show us a little bit of a pan of the gallery?
Yeah, is it fine if I flip my camera around?
Sure.
Perfect. Cool. So behind us is our featured artist for July, actually. So we'll be switching that out next week, but that's J.R. Monks. And then over here is the featured artist for next month, Sophia Hernandez Crade. So she'll be here for our art walk, doing some live demonstrations.
So when this episode airs on August 7th, she will be in the gallery?
She will, yeah. And
Fantastic.
she'll be doing some live painting and demonstrations, just hanging out for people to talk to and get to know.
Yeah, it's such a great opportunity to see people work live.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and just it's nice to be able to interact with the artists too. So
yeah, it helps
win-win
you
for everyone.
appreciate what you're seeing when you see the process. Yeah.
Definitely. Yep. So that's her. She also does a bunch of wildlife, so more kind of naturalistic rendering stuff. This is her newer collection that's all abstract, resin mixed media paintings. And then just kind of quickly run around. Jean Cacciaro here, who's an oil painter. Again, our featured artist, J.R. Monks. And we have
people
some
can kind of
Kirby
see,
Sattler print.
Yeah, people can really see as you pan through, Kenny, the beautiful merchandising and the really beautiful setting for the art. When you go into Squash Blossom, I think you have such a boutique experience of seeing art so beautifully shown in a retail and high art space. So.
Cool, thank you. We appreciate that. Definitely try to make it inviting for everyone. And then this is just our turquoise, more Native American collection room. So all of the cases in here will be dedicated to that turquoise Native American artists. It's mostly silver, sterling silver pieces.
Great. Well, tell us a little bit about how the gallery's been doing. For 47 years, you've been running this phenomenal space. How is it faring during the pandemic, which I'm sure offers our galleries a new challenge in welcoming people?
Yeah, so we're managing better than we could hope for, I think, given the circumstances. We've definitely, obviously, because of traffic slowing down so much, and generally this time of year we have such a strong tourism crowd. So that's definitely not the same. But our local patrons have really supported us a ton, and they've continued to come in and support us. We've tried to really adapt to online availability also, and offering local delivery and curbside pickup and stuff like that. So people have taken well to that. So
Fantastic.
we've been encouraged by the feedback that we've gotten and the support we've gotten.
Great. Squash Blossom is part of Virtual First Friday as well as an in-person First Friday on August 7th. You'll find information about Virtual First Friday at peakradar.com/Virtual First Friday, including a little social spot about Squash Blossom, and also information about their gallery at, can you give us your website, Kenny, so people can? Yeah,
it's just squashblossom.com.
Easy. Squashblossom.com. Really, really a wonderful place to look at jewelry. Really a fantastic place to find gifts and an important anchor in our cultural community. Tell us a little bit about what's coming up next for you guys, Kenny. What is on the horizon beyond August 7th?
Yeah, so actually we have some really exciting news. We sold our Beyale store. We had a Beyale store also. We actually sold that, so that's under new ownership now. But as a result of that, we've gotten a ton of the old inventory that we had up there. So we actually just brought the rest of that down this past week. So starting August 1st, we're going to be doing a big store-wide sale featuring mostly these designer jewelers. So kind of more high-end stuff that we don't usually carry in the store, but really big name designers. And we're going to be offering 30, 40, 50%.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so a bunch of really great, pretty much wholesale pricing on a lot of these things. So it should be fun.
Wow, what a great opportunity for our local community to take advantage of that inventory that isn't always available here.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for the time. Thanks for showing us around the gallery. Next time you're in Old Colorado City, I hope you'll stop in, say hello to Kenny, who is the manager there, and the warm and wonderful staff. And tonight, August 7th, as you're watching this episode, stop in Squash Blossom, see live artist demonstrations, and experience that in-person arts experience tonight as part of First Friday too. Thanks so much, Kenny.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
one of the joys of hosting Peak Radar Live is that I get to take you all to all these interesting places around the Pikes Peak region, and our coverage of Virtual First Friday over the past few months has allowed us to introduce so many different visual artists and to support as a community the visual arts in our region. Through Virtual First Friday, we've been able to encourage art sales and really keep some of these galleries open, help them thrive as family-owned businesses, and support the local artists who exhibit their work at all of those galleries. So truly, by participating in First Friday in person or by visiting peakradar.com/virtual First Friday, either way that you support visual arts through First Friday makes a huge impact on both the gallery owners, those small businesses in these key districts of Colorado Springs and Manitou Springs, and also all of those local artists that depend on them for access to patrons. But for our next interview, we're going to make a little pivot because the Cultural Office has just launched a brand new program to support performing arts. It's called Curbside Culture. It just launched a couple weeks ago, and it has tons of buzz. We're so pleased to have with us the coordinator of Curbside Culture, Andy Vick, the executive director of the Cultural Office, and one of the roster artists at the launch of the program, Harriett Landrum, who performs as My Name is Harriet. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
Hi, Harriet. Harriet's going to offer us a performance in just a few minutes. But first, we want to talk a little bit about this innovative new program, which is bringing the performing arts out into the community in a totally new way and giving people access to booking and supporting performing artists like never before. Andy, tell us a little bit about what Curbside is now bringing to the Pikes Peak region.
Well, as you said, this is a brand new program that is trying to navigate our new COVID-19 reality by providing local performing artists with an opportunity to continue to gig in this time when normal performance venues aren't able to support them. So this is a way to help them to sustain themselves financially. And also for us at the Cultural Office, it's a great way to make sure that the arts continue to get out into the community and aren't forgotten when everyone is staying home and really being mindful of the health situation.
Absolutely, and we know people are missing performing arts. This summertime in the Pikes Peak region is a time for outdoor performances. There's usually so many concerts, and so I think that's part of the excitement people are feeling is another opportunity to hear live music, but it's not just music, right?
Yeah, we specifically wanted this to be open to any kind of performing arts. So we already have an aerialist. We have several dancers and dance organizations. We'd love to get some theater people involved if we can get them interested. Really, any kind of performance or performance art that's happening. Again, you have to be a local artist. And we also want only to really, for this program, work with accomplished professional artists. This is really about putting money back into the pockets of artists who usually make their living this way. So not for amateurs, really for established professional artists like Harriet.
Mm-hmm. Harriet, thanks for joining us to give us an artist's voice about the program. It looks like you might be muted. Could you unmute your Zoom for us so that we can hear that artist perspective on the program? Hey, there's your gorgeous voice. So tell us, when you got the invitation to join the kind of inaugural roster of Curbside Culture, what was it that made you want to be part of it?
Well, it's just an opportunity to join a platform to communicate with listeners, and I think that it's something that now that it's up and running, we all wonder why it wasn't here in the first place. It was just such a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you usually perform, like when there's not a global pandemic? Where would people see My Name is Harriet performing in the community?
Anywhere from an art gallery to a bar or tucked away in the corner in a restaurant. I'll play just about anywhere that has electricity and do enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a neat opportunity through Curbside Culture for people to book you for a performance on their lawn and experience such kind of an intimate, relational moment to hear your music and have them be the only ones in the audience.
That's what's so incredible about house concerts, and really giving people permission in the public to be like, oh, I've heard this person once at a bar. Oh my gosh, now I have their contact info, and I could have a party and invite all of my favorite friends and have this person who was so cool, I remember from last year or whatever, have them in my backyard. I love house concerts because of that intimacy, and well, yeah, and because it's laid back, but also because everyone's going to be paying so much attention because it's such an event. It's such a special thing to have somebody play for you. And that's really what it's all about, I think, for the musicians or artists in general, and for the real listeners, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We hope that people will book artists through. You can find the full roster at peakradar.com/curbsideculture. And that not only for yourself, but to send as gifts. What an unbelievable anniversary gift to send someone a performance of My Name is Harriet or Tony Exum on his saxophone, or Tony Exum Jr., or even a band, Tejon Street Corner Thieves for a birthday party. And there's so many opportunities. And how is it that, because this could always have happened. So Andy, tell us how Curbside Culture makes it so easy for people, just so packaged.
Yeah, it's interesting that Harriet said, why hasn't this been happening all along? And that's really a great idea. We just were presented with this concept by a former board member named Herman Tiemens. And we took the concept and sort of adapted it to what we could manage within the Peak Radar structure of the website, and tried to make it as easy and user-friendly as possible. And I think this has the ability not only to be useful and valuable to our local performing artists now during COVID-19, but I hope even once we're past the pandemic, people will be able to continue to use this, because once it's set up, it's just a real easy interface. People from the community just go right to the peakradar.com/curbsideculture website, look at the roster of artists, find someone or something that sounds interesting, and you contact them directly and figure out all the logistics. So it really is very easy, intentionally by design. And we really hope that the community is going to take this opportunity to engage artists like Harriet and others on the roster and really get a chance to hear them do their thing up close and personal.
Yeah. Another thing I think that really helps the program is they kind of, each artist, when you visit their page, they've packaged some ideas. So a 15-minute performance for $50, or a 30-minute performance for $250. Like for each organization or artist, you can kind of see a little bit what that price range is going to be, and think about, do I need 15 minutes? Do I want an hour and a half? And it's all right there for you, which I think is part of what intimidates people, is like negotiating it and being afraid that they're going to call and find out it's $1,000 and they can't. So I think that's another thing that makes it feel really accessible.
Yeah, and important to remember that all the artists are setting their own prices. They're totally responsible for the content of their performance. And really, you have the opportunity, since you're dealing directly with the artist, to make sure you're getting the kind of experience that you're looking for, not only cost-wise, but duration and genre and whole vibe. So it's really a great opportunity and interface for the community members to connect directly with some of our talented artists in this area.
Well, we hope that more of those talented artists will apply to be part of Curbside Culture. Harriet, what would you say to someone who might be watching the show and thinking, maybe I should apply for that?
Well, first, I guess I would say, why on earth wouldn't you? Having a direct contact. I really like people just emailing me or giving me a call. It's so much easier and so much more accessible for people to get to you. So it's just a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. Of course you'd want to apply. It's another way of putting yourself out there. And I think because it's a bevy of local artists, like, that these are all kind of, the cream of the crop in the city. What a wonderful honor it is to even get to be a part of it. Yeah, no brainer.
Awesome.
Well, Harriet.
We hope that just like First Friday and virtual First Friday have become a lightning rod for support of the visual arts in the region, we hope that Curbside Culture will become that for performance during the pandemic, because our musicians and actors and aerialists, all of these performing artists are a critical part, not only of our arts community, but of our local economy, and supporting them is so important. And what a fun way to do it, like to get to have a show. We're going to get to have a show now because Harriett has prepared a performance just for Peak Radar Live. We're so excited to get a chance to watch that. Andy, is there any final thing that you would say to people who might be hearing about Curbside Culture and just not sure if they want to pull the trigger and go check that out?
Well, I would say to artists like Harriett, thank you for believing in the Cultural Office and supporting us by getting involved early. Other performing artists in the community, we'd love to have you be a part of it. The application is on the peakradar.com/Curbside Culture website. Just download it. It's pretty easy. And for those of you who are interested in maybe booking a gig, boy, it doesn't get any easier. Check out the website, find something you like, and just do it. Give it a chance, not only for your own enjoyment, but to help support the performing artists in our local community.
That's right. And these are all small scale outdoor performances that align with current health guidelines. As I said earlier in this episode, we can do this. We can find ways to have vital creative life as a community. We just have to make some adaptations. And one of the most innovative ones is Curbside Culture. Thank you both for telling us about the new program. And now we're going to enjoy a performance by My Name is Harriett. Harriett, what is the title of the song?
Amnesia. Great. Oh no, I forgot.
Can't wait to hear it. Thank you so much.
Why? I've got amnesia to all the times that you called me a genius, and all them rhymes gonna make me bad-eyed. Oh no, they're gonna make me cry. Oh, they're gonna make me cry. Oh,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now we're going to our live on the street correspondent for Peak Radar Live. Jennifer DeDominici is in downtown Colorado Springs experiencing the brand new Art on the Streets exhibit, which opens with its 22nd annual season tonight. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, how are you?
Thanks for taking us. Look, you're really on the street.
I am on the street, and I am right near art on the street, which is what we're doing here, right? I can show you, I am right near Sentry, which is a piece by Jade Window from Loveland, Colorado, I believe. I'm going to reverse my camera here so that you can actually see this better. There you are.
Loveland, Colorado, of course, an incredible hub for sculpture. So exciting to see a Loveland artist right there on downtown Colorado Springs sidewalk. What a gorgeous piece. Why did you choose this piece, Jennifer, to show us? What was it that you connected to?
Well, I chose this piece because when I was reading the artist description, it was the idea that gargoyles and totems are supposed to be guardian presences for a home. And so having this on the street of our city, I felt like was a nice way of feeling like we're being protected by our art on a certain level. And I needed a little bit of that right now.
Yeah, amazing. You know, Art on the Streets, as we said, this is the 22nd annual exhibition. Since 1998, they have 300 artworks in downtown Colorado Springs. And this year there's 13 new pieces that are part of the exhibition. Tonight is the launch, and there's a scavenger hunt. Is that right, Jennifer?
That is right. So there's a scavenger hunt, and if you can't make tonight's scavenger hunt, you can actually do the AutoCast app, OTO Cast, and do your own virtual, you can walk around and do your own walking tour with descriptions of the pieces by the artists themselves. So you don't have to make the scavenger hunt, but why would you want to miss it?
Yeah, the scavenger hunt will be a lot of fun, and they have giveaways at a few of the locations. The map and the AutoCast app, all of that information is at downtowncs.com.
Yes, yes. And I will be seeing a few more of these pieces. They're scattered throughout our city, which is so neat. You don't have to make a point of going to see them. You just have to make a point of opening your eyes and seeing what's been put out here for us to enjoy as part of our daily life. But if you have the time to make a point of going and seeing a bunch of them at once, why wouldn't you? Because in addition to the 13 new pieces in the exhibit for right now, there are still some pre-existing ones, correct? The ones that are part of, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a huge permanent collection. Part of it is part of the downtown Colorado Springs Art on the Streets collection. Some of it is owned by the city of Colorado Springs. I mean, public art in downtown is an incredible treasure. It's something I think we kind of take for granted.
Absolutely. I know I tend to. We tend to get behind the wheel of our car and go where we're going, and we stop at the stoplights, and we don't take in what's around us. So if anything, if these pieces help us to remember that there's something to be enjoying around us beyond the daily grind, and to make a bigger awareness of the things we should be appreciating in our life on a daily basis, it's doing its job.
Yeah, and during the pandemic, public art is probably one of the easiest things to enjoy and to experience.
Absolutely. You don't have to worry. I'm not wearing a mask because I'm outside and there's no one around me. It feels kind of dangerous, but also so freeing. Yeah, and I don't have to worry about it because there's not another human around, but I'm standing here with gorgeous art.
Yeah, you have a giant stone guardian sculpture right beside you.
I am protected right now.
Well, thank you so much for taking us out on the street with Art on the Streets tonight. We'll see you in about 10 minutes for another piece of tonight's launched exhibition collection of public art. Thank you so much, Jennifer DeDominici, for being our on the street correspondent.
Thank you so much. I'll see you in a few.
See you in a few minutes. So while Art on the Streets is launching tonight, there's something else that is launching tonight, and that is a new gallery in downtown Colorado Springs Creative District at 121 East Boulder Avenue. Lincoln Rose Gallery is opening tonight for its first night open to the public there on Boulder Avenue. Hi, AJ.
Hi,
congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. So we are pre-recording this episode, so we are getting a little sneak peek of the space before you have the exhibit hung. Is that right?
Yes, so we just started doing intake today. We have some people dropping by today, tomorrow, and Friday to bring some pieces. So.
Fantastic. So Life as We Live It is your first exhibition. What can people expect to see in your first exhibit, AJ?
Yeah, so we wanted to do a call for artists with a very loose but very practical theme, I guess you could say. So Life as We Live It is just that, the artist's interpretation. We have all kinds of mediums. People are bringing photographs, paintings, sculptures, and they're also submitting a little narrative along with the piece to kind of express and share what Life as We Live It means to them and what that means with their piece.
Fantastic. How many artists will be part of your inaugural show?
I believe we have about 26 people participating.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. That's fantastic. So again, congratulations. Lincoln Rose Gallery is the newest gallery to participate in First Friday, just opening tonight, August 7th. Tell us, AJ, what your vision is for Lincoln Rose and what it's going to bring to the gallery scene here.
Great. So my vision really is all about celebrating local artists, local creatives. I really want the space to be not only a gallery, but I also want it to be a multifunctional space where people can come together and do workshops and do, meetings. And, also we would, of course, have our monthly exhibits with featuring a different artist each month, but we're also going to have our small works nook where a collection of several artists will be able to display small works for sale and be able to come in and be a part of the gallery that way.
Fantastic. I want to just applaud you for opening a new business right now. It must be a particularly exhilarating experience to open a new business in the middle of the pandemic. So much of First Friday and Virtual First Friday are supporting galleries as small businesses and the artists that they represent. Can you tell us a little bit about what it's like for you to open a gallery right now?
It's something that I've wanted to do for a long time. I did have a gallery a few years back that I wound up closing, and I told myself, it wasn't the right time for me then. And I told myself, when the right opportunity presents itself, it's what I want to do. I want to connect. I want to be a bigger part of the art community and work with local artists and be in that. Like, I love it so much. And so this opportunity came up right before COVID hit, and, deciding to do it or not, it was a tough decision. And ultimately, I chose passion over being scared. You can't live your life being scared to do things because of a what if, because a what if could also be a positive thing. And, the Colorado Springs art community is amazing, and there's so much support and there's so much talent out there, and I couldn't pass it up. So I'm a little bit scared, a little bit hesitant, but I'm jumping in anyways.
Wow, it's so exciting to see you pursuing your dream and your courage in doing that. And I know that the arts community is ready to embrace you. That location there at 121 East Boulder is right beside Kreuzer Gallery. And it's a fantastic addition because Wild Goose Meeting House across the street, the speakeasies across the street, there's so much that's been developing in the past, even just the past year or two, right there on the north end of Tejon downtown. And we're so excited to welcome you to that part of Downtown Creative District. So tonight, August, and what should people be ready to experience when they arrive? How are you handling admission?
Yep. So we're going to be opening actually all day from 2 to 8. We're going to be holding the 2 to 5 window for the artists who are displaying their work to bring their friends and family kind of before the normal first Friday, so they can kind of get in here and see the show. And then of course your normal 5 to 8 will be open. We are going to be limiting our capacity. I think we're going to be trying to set around 10 people at a time. And just kind of see how that goes, and of course wearing masks and keeping safe distance and enjoying the art.
Well, fantastic. Well, thank you for opening a new space for local artists to connect with patrons, a new space for arts lovers in Colorado Springs to see inspiring work. And the show Life as We Live It will be on exhibit for how long?
For the whole month.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, very good. So if folks can't make it out tonight, they can stop by anytime during the month of August.
Yeah, and we will have our actual schedule posted. We're not exactly sure on the hours yet, but there'll be plenty of opportunities to come by.
Okay, fantastic. Well, we'll of course have all that information on peakradar.com, as well as upcoming openings at the new Lincoln Rose Gallery. Thank you, AJ, for joining us, and again, congratulations.
Thanks, Angela.
Wow, how inspiring. I tell you, I'm so thankful we have brave creatives in our region, because that's driving so much of what's happening right now. The artists who are creating, like JayCee, Beyale, and Gregg, who are showing tonight at the Modbo that we talked to earlier, gallerists like AJ who are opening a new business, or the performers like Harriett Landrum, who we talked to about Curbside Culture. They're going out and performing in people's front yards for the first time. And honestly, that's what it takes. It takes that creativity and that courage for our community to thrive, even in the midst of a difficult time. Now we're going to turn back to the street with Art on the Streets, and our On the Street correspondent, Jennifer DeDominici. She's giving us a look tonight at the launch of the 22nd annual Art on the Streets exhibition, which includes 13 new works of public art downtown, 7 sculptures, 5 murals. Jennifer, are you with us? Are you going to show us something exciting?
I am here on the corner of Tejon and Platt, and this is called Whirlwind Juniper. I'm walking up behind it here. I chose this piece because I happen to gravitate towards, pieces that seem to be made from existing natural things and then enhanced in some way, and that's exactly what this artist did. The artist thinks that this piece was probably a 500-year-old tree. Just expose the inner core of the tree, kind of peeling away the external part, and then emphasized all of the twisting and turning that nature created. And I feel like that's one of the things we're all kind of experiencing right now. Our normal surfaces are being torn away and our inner core are revealed. So I feel like this piece of art right now.
Oh, I love that. Our trunks are getting a little more twisted this year than they were.
Absolutely true. I'm going to flip the camera so you can see this a little bit better.
Thank you. Yeah, we'd love to see the full height.
Yes.
Oh my.
And it's really neat juxtaposed to the living trees here in Acacia Park.
Oh yes, of course. One of the things that's so interesting about Art on the Streets is where they place work. You know,
Absolutely.
the context that they put the individual work in, and then that dialogue that happens with its placement. So I'm so glad you brought up that it sits at the corner of Acacia Park surrounded by other trees. That's so neat.
Yes. And how easy to be able to walk by and see something like this and then also enjoy some of the dining that's nearby. You can patronize some of the local restaurants and participate in all of the art that's right here in our daily lives here in Colorado Springs. I guess 22nd annual, correct? This is our 22nd year.
That's right. Over 300 works of art have been brought into downtown, most of them for short term over the past years since 1998, but some of them have been purchased and are a permanent part of the built environment downtown. This is just exquisite. I love the two that you chose. They have kind of a similar overall presence, but then completely different materials, completely different meaning, but still really a demonstration of resilience and strength in both pieces.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, I am not a visual artist myself, of course, but I know what speaks to me, and these two definitely did speak to me today. So here we are again.
Yeah.
I'll try to get a better view of
So
this.
earlier you mentioned the AutoCast app, and I just want to commend that again to our viewers, because you can download that from iTunes or Google Play. The Art on the Streets has two different walking your own phone and enjoy not just information about the works of art, but hearing the artists talk about what informed the pieces. That is such a neat opportunity.
Such a great opportunity. And since so much of the availability of this artwork is based on donations, you can go to downtowncs.com, and for $10 donation, you can already get a tax write-off for participating in making this happen for us, not only now, but in the future.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that happens because people support it.
Yes, exactly.
And we all get to enjoy public art, but it does take a lot behind the scenes to make these things happen. So huge kudos to Downtown Partnership and to our creative district manager, Claire Swinford, who oversees the Art on the Streets program for Colorado Springs. This is a huge feat every year, and the launch is always such a big celebration for the whole community. Yeah. Jennifer, I'd like to congratulate you while we have you on the show on your Henry Award.
Thank you.
And for being part of the incredible 10 Henry Awards that the Fine Arts Center earned at that state level honors.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I feel so lucky. We have a beautiful art community here in all aspects, and that team that put together that show was definitely the dream team. I feel really lucky, and it was the last thing a lot of us did before we got locked down, so it's kind of beautiful that it gets to live on because nothing took its place afterwards.
Right. I was hoping, I'm so glad you brought that up. I was hoping that it was an encouragement to our theater artists who have just lost so much work and so much opportunity to create this year. So I hope that was an encouragement for you guys who were part of that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and we can't wait to see you on stage again, Jennifer, just as soon as it can happen.
Thank you. Thank you. I can't wait to get back up there.
I'm sure. And for right now, we're seeing you on the street. Thank you for being our on the street correspondent for Peak Radar Live and for showing us some of Art on the Streets 2020.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Jennifer.
Bye-bye.
Just an incredible resilience. I'm just so moved by that tonight and tonight's episode and the people we've interviewed who are pushing forward with incredible work during a difficult time. We hope that you'll support visual artists tonight during virtual First Friday. You can find all that information at peakradar.com/virtual First Friday, which runs from 5 to 8 p.m. on August 7th. And also in-person events are listed at peakradar.com. If you are listening to Peak Radar Live later, our podcast, you can find upcoming cultural events in all genres at peakradar.com, and we hope that you will explore something new and support local artists, local galleries, and local venues. We also hope that you'll check out Curbside Culture, because that's such an exciting launch for our community and our creative community that's just happening right now. You can learn more about Curbside Culture at peakradar.com/Curbside Culture. I want to say a special thank you to Studio 809 for producing the show with me. I'm Angela Seals of the Cultural Office, and we love bringing you these personalities and these stories from the local creative community. We hope you'll tune in again soon and continue to participate and support the arts however you can. Thank you, everyone.